Yeah, so many new people. Welcome, everyone. I hope you find any of this valuable. Okay, so Antonio, is this Antonio? Is in glitchy Antonio? So, uh, when you sign up for this, there's a little extra details that you can add. It says, I don't know, or I know it's not much 3D work, but would like some feedback on what I have and what I should focus on. Any tips to improve would be nice. So, looking at this portfolio, what I'm seeing right now, just right out the gate, is that you want to be a material artist. Um, if we look at up here right now, you're saying you're a student. That's cool. Location, that's good. Seeing materials and the branding is really nice. Making sure that the materials stamp here is the same size will be pretty important. Let's just minimize this for a little bit. So making sure that that little material, the hashtag, is the same size in every thumbnail. And if you can unify the backgrounds, the materials. What is happening? Kaz, you're going to make me sweat like, or Kez, sorry. Kesmapez. Hot bejesus. All right, well, hang on. I gotta wait. I gotta wait for all this. I hope you guys are ready for a long stream. I'm so scared. After June 16th, which is the next group, we'll be doing. It'll be open, so you'll see me slot in more people. But thank you for all of those gifted subscriptions. Honestly, I think this is the first time it's happened at this level, so it is super appreciated. Um, I'll just let those keep going for a minute. How many did you do? I can't even see right now. Okay, maybe I can just talk through it. I just stop it. Okay, so materials. So it's part of a series. Now that I see the play on words, I'm terrible at play on words because I just look at the beginning and the first parts of the word, and then I'm like, oh, it must say materials. It's terrible. Anywho, so you've got some 2D stuff in here, which is pretty cool. Really interesting experiments, it looks like. Then we've got this classic flash grenade. And then you start diving into materials. So what I would say about this is, of course, first start with like when you do this type of branding on a thumbnail, save it as like a template, and then just start putting the same images inside of that template. Kind of that's how I do like my YouTube thumbnails, for example. Then I would try and match the background to the background in here, just for keeping it uniform. That way, the focus is on your materials. And then I would suggest really pushing your materials. So like right now, it's pretty cool that you did the materials challenge, just because it kind of forces you to put the deadline on yourself to kind of make it happen, making sure to, for example, this is a perfect example of when you should be utilizing that displacement to try and get a really interesting surface breakup. It's like as you scroll down, you see it's just a sphere with the material, right? And so if you can really show off that material, that'd be good. Despite that, I mean, the material is really interesting. It looks cool. If it scales, one thing to think about is keeping it quite natural or organic looking, right? So if you think about scales from a snake, maybe there's some scales that grow a little differently, or there's some that get damaged a little bit as it ages. So just thinking about how nature has while it's beautiful in this sense, that nature has its imperfections. I think I actually looked at this material in another review, and the comment I made was these little pieces here, and trying to make sense out of like what those are. Because right now they kind of look like sand, but they're taking on some of the attributes of like little tiny rocks. So it's understanding what that is and really trying to bring these details to life in a way that describes them realistically, I guess. These lines as well, I had commented on before. Seeing this used in a scene, I think would help alleviate the questions I may have about these lines, which are like, why are they so straight? Maybe they're not straight, and it's just a matter of getting on a plane that's kind of rolling to see what they look like. I think adding shells into the sand may help sell it more. It is beach sand, so yeah, any details that you can find for beach sand would be... Oh no, I missed my bus stop by like 3. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is interesting. Harvest. So thinking about like, let me just make sure I'm reading this correctly. Something simple, so like, okay. So yeah, so this is like farmland, right? And you're either getting ready to plant or you've just harvested. And I think it's just harvested because of the little sticks in here. Remember to keep in mind where the tracks will be when you have that the machinery come across the field. And so making sense out of that and adding the details that kind of imply the surface and how it's at play with reality. It looks like that's water in the little crevices, or maybe it's mud. It's hard to tell because there's not a lot of fidelity that's happening inside of that area. So keep that in mind when you're trying to portray specific surfaces, is understanding what is what. And I think this might be a little low poly, and definitely I think there is a plane in Substance Designer now that is actually tessellated more. Yo, what's up, man? And if it's not tessellated enough, or you're in Marmoset, like it looks like down here, this might be in Marmoset, bringing in your own plane that's tessellated already, and then doing your displacement on it, just to try and add more detail. This is also probably because these lines are there's so many of them in one texture. So Assassin Lincoln stuff. Hang on here. Lincoln logs. There's 117 of you guys in here. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Yeah, this is great. So if I bring this over here, you can see like the track lines and just telling the story of like how it got to the way it is. I'm terrible at explaining that, but yeah. We're just going to move on. So this lava's weird. Definitely be looking at reference when you do materials like this. I think these bubble spots feel a little odd, and without looking at reference, I think in this view it doesn't look too much like lava, and it's maybe more like an exotic marble, even just because of the way the lighting is casting across the surface. Whereas this one, you can start to see a little bit of the normal map information in there, and the kind of thickening and the cooling of the molten rock as it's hardening, pushing that detail further. And really, like, there's a ton of tutorials on lava. I would look really, really deep into this type of stuff. There's some crazy things in there. With how lava is formed. This is interesting. That's awesome. So just using the way that the Substance Designer creates these types of patterns, you've created a form of a map. That's awesome. I don't have too much to say to this other than like I know this one can be a bit of a challenge just because of the way that you have to work with Substance Designer. The tears on the edge, I would probably try and control them a little bit more. And then maybe thinking about the way that paper ages. Because you could put this on a plane, right? And then that plane could be on another plane. And when the first plane, when you put this material on it, have it displaced where it looks like it's been folded and you get that look of like a crinkled up map that's on a surface, that'd be the bee's knees. And no, that was not the Blender logo for all you people out there thinking there's a cult or something. That's pretty cool though. I think maybe this background could be black. And maybe if you could control the shapes to make some larger continents or islands. Or just really go for the skull island and make one of these look like a skull. You could do that too. That'd be pretty cool. And then last but not least, ice cream. So when you make a material like this, you should go all out. Make the cone, put the sphere on the cone, add like a distorted version of it on a torus at the base of the where the ice cream meets the cone, and you'd be in a good spot. It'd be looking good. This kind of looks like what ice cream is this? Vanilla, really? I don't know. But definitely pushing the height information in order to really kind of make it feel like ice cream. That's got the little valleys and the pits and the way that ice cream just kind of breaks. Oh, you guys are amazing with your chipped paint ice cream. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Yeah, you need some what is it called? Frostbite or frosting on the edge of the ice cream because it's been in the freezer for too long. Ugh. Ugh. Anyways, so this is great that you're a student because you're in a time in your learning phases. This is like one of the earlier phases of learning. It just keeps going, right? You learn forever. This is a good time to figure out what you want to be doing. So do you want to be a material artist? Do you want to be an environment artist, a props artist? What I see right now is I don't know. What I think you want to be is a material artist. So I think really digging down deep and researching the materials that you're trying to replicate, and then trying to get the material to be as close to that as possible. Like, it can be as hardcore as going outside being like, all right, I want to make this sidewalk. Take a picture of the sidewalk. Take a picture of the sidewalk with the light hitting it so you see how the roughness reacts or how the lighting bounces off of that surface before it hits your eye. And then also a spray bottle and spraying it to see what it looks like when it becomes wet. So if you decide to put puddles or add moisture to your material, you understand how the material's porosity is affecting the colors and the saturation and the value. But yeah, right now I would say, of course, you're still a student from this, and it looks like you had a lot of fun with this. Maybe ran out of energy, like I might by like portfolio 8. But I would say keep pushing. If you want to make materials, make materials. If you want to make props, make props. And if you want to make environments, make environments. And if you make enough props, you kind of have an environment. You just gotta put it together, you know. Anyways, let's get on to the next portfolio.